I'm here today with Taylor Holt. Taylor leads our worship ministries, and I know you're, 20 some odd weeks into your job, is that right?
Yeah, about 6 months.
6 months, okay,
Yeah.
great, man. It's been great having you around. And I want to talk to Taylor about Development Week as well, and so let's, just by way of overview, Development Week, of course, is that week in life of our church when we kind of don the job fair, ministry fair kind of look around here, and we're trying to let every ministry position, every volunteer slot kind of be open for someone to experience or kind of dip their toe in that water.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little more difficult at times in an area like yours where a lot of practice rehearsals are required, but man, I appreciate your openness saying, hey, let's see, how can we keep developing people? So Development Week starts November 3rd. Tell us what areas you oversee and give us some raw data, some hard numbers on what you need and what you have.
Yeah. So in my ministry for the weekend, I oversee most of the AV back in the booth, the sound booth, and everybody on the platform except for Todd.
You oversee me, don't worry. I follow your cues, man.
Yeah, and so for a normal weekend service, ideally we would like about 11 people between the AV booth and the band on the platform. But we're getting by most weeks by around average 9 or 10, and so we've got a couple holes to fill. That would be nice, ideally, and then we've also got a few volunteers that are serving fairly regularly, and so getting them into more of a rotation. Rotating in new volunteers would be really ideal and really help some of our volunteers that are serving a lot. And so that'd be ideal.
Okay, so numbers wise, you're not really that far away.
Not from a weekend service, no.
But you probably have there's some color to that, I think,
Yeah.
that you might want to unpack with us a little bit.
Yeah, so just to get specific, bass guitarists, we need a few more of those.
Okay.
Keys players, we could use some more of those. Male vocalists, we could use some more of those. And then everyone in the AV booth, so that's lyrics or sermon slides. That's a huge aspect to help lead our church congregationally, running sound and running lights. So you may or may not know it, but lights are probably something that you don't even realize that are happening. And that's a good thing, but there's somebody back there manning that station, and we could definitely use some more people helping out there.
So if someone were to say, I'd like to kind of get the idea of shadow with lights, just kind of throw that in there. You like that? Yeah. If someone wanted to shadow a spot in areas you oversee, what's the best way to make that happen for Development Week?
Yeah, probably just emailing me. You can find my email on our website, or
go ahead and just give it to them.
tholt@ffclife.com.
Good.
And if you email me and let me know that you're interested in serving in some area, I'll be in touch with you, and we can try to meet up. And for most of the instrumentalists and band, I'd like to meet with them just one-on-one, talking through some of the expectations, everything that goes on. But then more of the AV side, we'll set up a time for you to shadow them and get plugged into that ministry.
And a lot of your ministry seems to have like binary things to it. Like they're either in the back where no one really sees them ever,
right?
Or they're on the stage where everybody sees them.
Yeah, exactly. But they're so important, both aspects.
Yeah,
on
they
the
really
platform and in the back are both coming together, working together to create a cohesive, distraction-free service that we're going for.
Distraction-free. Yeah. High impact.
High impact.
Yeah, I'm with you on
right.
that. So talk with me a bit and to our church about vision of the future a little bit, because besides the weekly stuff there in that main auditorium, there's some ideas for youth worship that I know you're kind of plugging into now.
Yeah.
Even children's worship and trying to have your hands in that. So there's this pipeline.
Sure.
What if someone says, hey, I have interest in maybe helping with the children, but it's in the music. Do I contact you or Becky, or is it both? Or how would something like that work?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out some of those nuances a little bit and trying to figure out exactly how to get everything plugged in. But my vision and desire is for all of our church, everything worship production, all to be kind of under the same umbrella. And so the worship production ministry of First Family Church, and not necessarily the youth ministry, not necessarily the children's ministry or the worship center, but as a collective, as a whole. And so then trying to figure out, okay, what area within the worship ministry of First Family would you best fit or best be able to serve, time-wise, talent-wise, whatever that may be.
Right.
And so that's what I would love to see happen. We're still trying to figure out some of those nuances, but then even further down the road, trying to raise up more leaders within our church and working with other churches and the network of churches that we've had the privilege of planting, of if they need somebody to fill in for leading worship one week, that we would be able to provide that opportunity. Or if they're looking to hire somebody, hopefully be able to raise up leaders within here and say, hey, you should hire this person. So that all starts.
Number's way beyond 10.
Yeah,
11
that goes way beyond. So
Good.
some futuristic ideas for sure. And
So I think people hearing that, that can give them some ideas about what I would like to get involved in that area
Yeah.
with the future in mind,
Yeah.
whether it's leading children's worship or working the youth. And there may be some youth who would say, man, Taylor, I'd love to plug in and learn so that I can be most effective with our youth group.
for sure.
And I think that's all part of Development Week, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, definitely. This is just kind of laying the groundwork.
Yeah, that's great. And your vision is our vision. I mean, we've talked as a staff and we work together great. And there is still the nuances we're working out.
Yeah.
But it's our desire as a team, you're right, to figure out how can we help each other
That's right.
in our ministries where music and worship is involved. So
Yeah, for sure.
help me have this conversation with our church on a continuing basis between, what I call the veterans and the rookies,
Yeah.
the longtime flyers, the young eagles. Help me continue to think through, what does it mean to have a baton handing off mentality? What does it look like? And how can older, experienced musicians or vocalists or leaders in the worship ministry recruit and train and kind of empower younger people?
Yeah.
Why is that necessary? And just talk to us a bit about how those two can work together and not necessarily feel like they're against each other.
Sure. I think it's so important to continue to recreate yourself. And so holding on to something, as we've kind of talked, is not letting other people come into it or not letting other people become developed and to fly,
Yeah.
So I think it's important in every aspect, but even musicians and audio techs, it's always important to be training up the next generation, or not even the next generation, but more and more people so that they can continue to serve the Lord within our church. And I think our vision with the worship ministry and production ministry is just in step with every other thing, development aspect within our church.
Good.
And so, yeah.
Thanks for boarding that train
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Just being willing to embrace the idea of development.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
November 3rd, it starts First Family. That's the very first Sunday of that week. And so you'll see a number of new people probably on the platform that day, maybe in the back. We're excited to see who God's raising up across the board in various ministries. And I know, Taylor, your ministry is just part of that. So thanks for being a part of it, supporting it. Development Week, November 3rd.
Looking forward to it.